Hey y'all, hey, it's Tracy Time. It's time for another wonderful Wednesday with me, Tracy T. Can you believe it's already Wednesday? Like, where's the time going this week? Listen, I'm going to be here with you real quick because I want you to know, first off, I'm so excited that you're here. I literally am about to have lunch. So I am in my kitchen. I am going to have, I think, some chicken salad for lunch and some white grapes. And of course, my seltzer water, so that I can be ready for tonight. So I want you to know, I am so excited. Tonight I'm gonna, who is with me? Hey, say something so I can say your name. Hey, thanks for being with me, T-Row crew. You know what to do. I am so excited because tonight, we are going to have our Why Should I Vote panel discussion, y'all, with young adults for young adults. It's gonna be a candid conversation. I have I've been talking about me doing my part and trying to figure out what can be said and what can be done and how can we integrate and how can we involve and how can we, connect with young adults. I raised my hand and talked to some young adults that I know, and thankfully they were happy to engage with me. And they said, Tracy, we need you to be a bridge. We don't see ourselves in politics. We need to talk to somebody who is in our age group, who is in politics, and have a conversation so maybe we can, create some connections. I said, done. I reached out, y'all. I want you to know I am so grateful to Mikhail Lowry and Michael and Easter Thomas. I reached out to them immediately after having a conversation with the 3 young adults, and they said yes. I told them what I wanted to do. I told them what was happening, and they said yes. So I was thrilled. What I want to do tonight is at 8 o'clock Central. What I'm going to do tonight, just so you'll know, spread the word, because here's what's going to happen today. It's really a very simple format. Mikhail Lowry, Michael and Easter Thomas are going to serve as the voice of experience as young Black men and women who are engaged in local politics. They are going to be our subject matter experts for tonight, right? And then the 3 people that I talked to are going to be the lay people panelists. So I have 3 young adults who I had the initial conversation with who have agreed also. And thank you to Varsha Menon, to Mia Griffin, and to BJ Crawford. I am delighted to have those 3 young adults with me serving on the panel. We are going to be on a Zoom video conference. I have extended that invitation to everybody. This is not a Memphis thing. This is a young adult thing. So if you know a young adult, if you are a young adult, join us, because we are going to have this conversation. It is going to be a candid conversation because I am really, truly interested in knowing what's happening with the mindset. I want to know, and this is, okay, let me say this. Let me qualify. This is in no way, shape, form, or fashion saying to someone, I don't believe that young adults are engaged. Young adults are unbelievably engaged. There are a whole host of young adults who have been out doing peaceful protesting, who have been campaigning, who have been phenomenally engaged. Y'all have seen some of the young adults I've had on the show. Theron C. Bond is one of them, just a phenomenal young woman who is well versed in politics and could run circles around me for sure in terms of knowing what's happening, not just on the local level, but from the national level as well. So this is no way, in shape, form, or fashion, an indictment that young adults are not engaged. What I want is to tap into those young adults who are saying, we don't think we should vote. We don't get it. We don't understand why it's so important that we vote. I want to have a conversation for those young adults, right? Or for those young adults who feel marginalized because they don't feel like they're being represented in this election. Or the young adults who are listening to some of the people that are out there now, the Ice Cubes and Puffies and P. Diddy, Sean Puffy Combs, and others who are saying things that may give them information or give them some kind of imploration to do something other than vote. And so I'm interested in having that conversation. So if you were in my position as the moderator tonight, What would you want to know? What questions would you ask? I've already provided some questions to the panelists, so they will be prepared. We don't want anyone blindsided, but I am expecting that there will be other questions that come up. So what do you want to know? That's what I want to know. If you could talk to a young adult right now, what would your question be to them? Or if you want to ask a question for Mikhail and for Michaelin, what would you want to know from them? They are graciously providing their time to make this engagement. It is important to them that we have engagement. I can tell you all that I am, hey y'all, who's with me? Let me see, who's with me today? I see 3 of you, and I'm grateful that you're here with me with lunch, live and lunch with T-Row. This has been, y'all, we are literally in countdown mode. For those of you that are Tennesseans and in other states where early voting occurs, we are literally weeks away. I mean, literal weeks away from having the opportunity to early vote. In Tennessee, in Shelby County, we have early voting that occurs from October 14th through October 29th. I have posted and will continue to post those other states that have early voting so you can be informed. I am encouraging you, and again, this has nothing to do with any paid endorsements, any support that I'm receiving. This is just me saying, gosh, this is so dang on important. I am asking you to make sure that you go to vote.org and check your voters registration status. You're saying to me, I know what you're going to say. Well, Tracy, I voted in August. I've been voting since I was 18. I was registered to vote, and I vote in every election. Listen, check your voters registration status. I'm telling you, I said this on Monday. I'm going to say this again on Friday when I'm on, because we can't take anything for granted. I had a conversation with some of the people that I did with the voters registration on Sunday, and y'all, I was absolutely shocked. I couldn't believe that there were people who voted in the August election. Okay? Not in the election 2 years ago or 4 years ago or one presidential election ago. August, as in last month, and had been purged from the system. Do you hear me? Do you hear what I'm saying? That is absolutely insane. That is insanity. It's so crazy, I can't even get it out. Check your voters registration status. It is a 30-second check. It literally takes your name, your address, and your birthday and email. That is it. That is all. Take the time to check your voters registration, because here's what I know. If you don't check your voters registration status and you are in a position where even if you decide to go early vote, on October 14th in the state of Tennessee, when early voting begins, if you go to the poll and say, hey, here's my driver's license, or here's my voter's registration card, I'm ready to vote, and they don't have you in the system, then what? Then nothing. That's what. You won't be able to vote, because the registration deadline is October 5th. So if the registration deadline is October 5th, then you've got to make sure that you are ready and registered before October 5th. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? It's just that crucial. There is no two ways about it. It is just that simple, and it's just that crucial. People now are in a position where we've never honestly been in a position where our voting rights have been questioned in terms of, well, okay, I'm qualifying that you would assume that once you register to vote, you don't need to re-register unless something has changed for you, that you've moved or your name has changed or something to that effect. But I'm telling you what I know, what I personally saw and witnessed. People are being purged out of the system. Please go to vote.org and check your voters registration status. And with regard to voting, I am literally tonight, I have 5 people who have agreed to be with me on a panel for a candid discussion for young adults and by young adults. Hey, Sheila Rogers, how you doing? Hey, Casey Jordan, how you doing? I want y'all to tune in tonight and make sure, and Adrian, I see you. Hey, how you doing? I want y'all to tune in tonight at 8 o'clock Central. I have posted the Zoom information so you can log in. I want you to be engaged. I am also going to stream it live here, but I want you, if you want to be engaged and be able to be a part of the discussion, join us via Zoom. If you want to be an observer of the discussion and watch it, you can join us right here tonight at 8 o'clock. I am going to make sure that I have everyone involved, and if you have a question that you post on the live stream, I will make sure that I get the question asked. I think it is important for us to engage in the way we feel comfortable. There will be some people that are participating with me live on the Zoom. There are 5 panelists who will have the spotlight. The other participants that will be on the Zoom will be engaged. They will be muted unless they have a question so that we can have some order. I do not want this to become a chaotic, shouting match. This will be a discussion. We are going to have lively questions, I'm sure. And there are no questions that I'm saying, we want to be tasteful. We want to be respectful. But we want to just get to the bottom of it. And so I've asked some of the panelists already some questions to start us, and then we will continue to have this conversation for the time that is allotted. And I can tell you, I am absolutely thrilled that Michaelin Easter Thomas, that is the Shelby County, the Memphis City Council member for District 7, and then Mikhail, I'm butchering their names. Okay, let me get myself together, y'all, because I'm too excited. Michaelin Easter Thomas is a city council member for District 7. Mikhail Lowry is a county commissioner, a Shelby County commissioner. Those 2 young adults have agreed to join me tonight. You've seen that. Hey, Marion, how you doing? Those 2 have agreed to join me tonight with the 3 panelists of young adults who are going to be a representation of a slice of young adults. Now, I am in no way, shape, form, or fashion saying that the 3 panelists I have on here as young adults are the end-all, be-all for all young adults. I'm not saying that, but what I am representing are people of color, young people of color who I want to engage. That is not disqualifying or at all making the voice of people that are young adults from every hue important to me. Everybody's voice matters to me. I am interested in hearing from all young adults, particularly those who are not interested in voting or feel somehow marginalized because they didn't get their candidate as the nominee for vice president or for president. I had a conversation, and this was one of my live and lunch people, y'all, who said, I didn't want Biden. I wanted Bernie Sanders, and I wanted, Stacey Abrams as the president and vice. Okay, I want to have that conversation. So now that you don't have that, now what? Now do you withhold your vote? Now do you get behind the people who have said those 2 people specifically we know have endorsed the others? What do you say? So I want to make sure that we are in a position where we just have regular conversations about this, because these young adults that I've talked to, Mia Griffin, Varsha Menon, and BJ Crawford, said to me that they feel like they're on one side and that the other people, the older people, are on another side and they need a bridge. So I told them I will serve as a bridge. I will be a conduit, because you are not alone. There are a whole host of people who want to hear from you and want to understand what you're saying and want to, better yet, understand what the mindset is if they are not engaged. Now, I can tell you those 3 young adults that I mentioned, Mia Griffin, Varsha Menon, and BJ Crawford, are actively engaged, and they want to have a conversation with me and others to understand what's happening. Thanks, Marion. I am doing my level best. I can tell you, tell everybody you know, Casey, Marion, Adrian, for all of you, Sheila, who are on here, tell everyone you know to go to vote.org, vote.org. Go to vote.org, y'all. I cannot tell you enough. I can't say this. I'm going to say it every day because it is so important for you to go online and check your status. Go online to vote.org. You can check your registration status. If you want a step-by-step process and how to do it, I did it on Monday live at lunch so that people could see the actual page and you could see. We got to get this in there. Marion, you're absolutely right. We've got to support our young leaders. They are our future. They are the voice of our future. They're representing where we are now. And then we've done a bad job, I think, to some degree, of making sure that they understand. We have to take some accountability and responsibility for where some of the young adults are, because we haven't continued to carry that light and baton saying, this is why it's so important that you have a voice, that you have got to get engaged on every level. It is important and I can't stress this enough, Tracy Bond says this every time we talk, and she and I are going to get together again before the election is over, before the early voting starts, to say this: the presidential election is key. And in this presidential election, is so vital. It's so vital for us to get engaged and make sure that we're involved. And for people who have thought, oh, you know, there's no harm, what the occupant is doing, he spoke his mind, he was great, he was this, I really liked him because he spoke his mind. Yeah, no, that's not what's happening right now. We are literally in a stage of absolute chaos and destruction. Our country is on the verge of a civil war. And for what? Anybody. So the young adults that are out, especially in areas like Portland and Minneapolis, and they're all over the country, they are saying, not on our watch. We're not having this. And so they are, as usual, the driving force behind change. We've got to get behind them and support them, but we can't fully support them if we don't know what they're doing and we don't know what's motivating them and what's driving them and what's fueling the passion of them doing what they're doing, right? So that's what this is about tonight. This is absolutely an opportunity for me to serve as moderator so that we can have this discussion on a public forum with young adults and for young adults to say, tell me, what is it? And I don't want anyone, so let me make sure that I qualify this. I'm going to say this again tonight at 8, but let me make sure that I qualify this and say this simply. If you are in a position where you are a young adult or you know a young adult who has not yet registered to vote, there is no shame in that, okay? This is not going to be me placing judgment or shaming or shading anybody. This is about you having the opportunity to be informed, to get information, to understand better about what should motivate you to vote. And then if you still decide you don't want to do it, that's your choice. But I want to be able to be a platform and a bridge. I said, this is me serving as a conduit, right? For people to get the opportunity to say, I heard some information, I learned a little bit more, I may not agree with everything I heard, or I totally get it now and I'm in, and now I understand that if I don't vote, that my grandmama, my dear big mama won't have Social Security, that their livelihood and health care coverage depends on making sure that I make this vote, that I can't function because I won't have a job that pays me a living wage if I don't get engaged and vote. But now what I was going to say about Tracy Bond and what the conversation that she and I had and that we will continue to have is that being involved in the presidential election is good. But what we want is more effective if. So I encourage you to absolutely pay attention and be attuned to what's happening with the presidential elections. That comes up every 4 years. There are elections every year, y'all. There are elections every year, y'all. There are elections every year that are happening at the state and local level. We have elections every year. And one of the elections, and once this presidential election is done, I'm going to start gearing myself up to get you ready for us to be ready when the 2021 elections come, because we have a state person, the Secretary of State, Trey Hargett. He has got to go. He has been in that position. This is one example, okay, of how you can be engaged and know something and then not really do anything about it. And I'm going to tell you what the implications are. So I'm going to give this example. And then I'm going to go, y'all, because, you know, it's lunchtime. But let me give you this example. Trey Hargett. Trey Hargett is the Secretary of State. Trey Hargett has been the Secretary of State since 2009. The Secretary of State term is a 4-year term. I'm going to say that again so you get it. I'm going to let it sink in. For those of you in the back, Trey Hargett is the Secretary of State and has been in office since 2009. Okay? It's a 4-year term. You do the math. That means he has been in a position where he has been the Secretary of State for more than one term, and he is a die-hard, proud, card-carrying member of the Republican Party. Now, that wouldn't matter. And let me say this. I don't have an issue with the Republican Party. Not at all. I have an issue with what's happening now that the Republican Party is being taken over by some people that are fueled by hate. That's another conversation. But let me say this. Trey Hargett in his Republican position, aligning himself with the occupant for the state of Tennessee. I'm going to tell you how this comes from the state down, how it trickles down all the way from him being aligned with the president, down to the state, down to your town, down to your city, down to your neighborhood. Trey Hargett said, yeah, other state secretaries, yeah, you guys may have ballot boxes, but I think I'm going to pass on that because I don't want there to be the potential for voter fraud. So, Trey Hargett, who is the Secretary of State, who has been in office since 2009, blocked, stopped, intervened, intercepted, prevented, any other words you can think of, said no to the state of Tennessee, not your town, not your city, the entire state. He said no for the state of Tennessee having ballot boxes. Now, here's why that's important. Right now, what's going to happen for the election, for the November 3rd election, those people who are not in a position to have their vote taken to a place where they can cast their vote, those people are going to be in a position where they are literally not able to do what? To vote. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? Those people who are in a position who literally cannot make it to they want to do a mail-in, they won't be able to just give their ballot to somebody and drop it in the box. Why is that important? That's important because we've been told, we've already been demonstrated that the Postmaster General is in cahoots with Trump. The Postmaster General has already removed mailbox drops. So if you are in a position where you're relying on the Postal Service to get your mail-in ballot, you may not get your mail-in ballot delivered on time. Now, if that doesn't bother you, I want you to send me a message. DM me if that doesn't bother you. Send me a private message if that doesn't bother you because I want to understand how that doesn't bother you. I want to know how it's okay because here's what I can tell you. I just said we have an election every year. We have an election every year. And because we have an election every year, we know that the drop boxes that are just for ballots are going to be useful. And they're separate boxes, and they could be literally accessed by the Shelby County Election Commission only, or the Board of Elections only. So we've got to get the 2021 is when Trey Hargett is scheduled to be out of office. He's up for election. He's run uncontested. And here's the thing I love the most. What are the qualifications for a Secretary of State? 0. No qualifications, no prerequisites. I could be Secretary of State. You could be Secretary of State. So we've got to make an informed decision, and that is on all of us. My focus tonight is on young adults. Please connect with me tonight at 8 o'clock Central. If you want to be a part of the discussion, Zoom, join the Zoom. I've put the information out there for everybody. If you want to be an observer of the conversation, I am going to stream live here at 8 o'clock. We will be prompt. We will be on time. We will make sure that we get the questions that you have posted asked. If there's a question that you want to make sure that I ask, go ahead and post it in here and I'll come back and make sure that I capture it. It's 8 o'clock tonight on Zoom. I have posted the information. I encourage you again, I'm checking my time. I encourage you again to please go to vote.org and check your registration status. Do not take for granted that you were registered to vote. Do not take for granted that you voted in August. Adrian, Marion, yes. Wake up, people. Wake up. Adrian, you said, good afternoon. I've been having my clients check their status while sitting in the chair. Everyone has checked, has green checked. Thank goodness. Thank you, Adrian, for continuing to do that. For all of you who are students, check your status. For you, those of you, Adrian, fantastic idea that you're doing it with every one of your clients because they're sitting there getting their service. Ask them. Thank you so much for continuing to spread that word. If each one of you will ask one other person to do it and then tell them to ask someone else to do it, do you know that you have the reach, that one person has the reach for 400 people. Prove it. There is one person's path can connect to at least 400 people. And many of you, like Adrian, come into contact with clients who have, a further, even more expanded reach because they reach out to other people. Hey, Derek, baby, I didn't see you on here. You check yours and Bibles and you're good. Spreading the word. Thank you. Please post it. 8 o'clock tonight on Zoom. I'm telling you guys, it was the shock of the week for me when during registration on Sunday for people, I checked the status of someone who had voted in August and she was purged from the system. I couldn't believe it. And then when I talked to my mom and told her about it, because I wanted to make sure that she and my stepdad were registered and they checked, they got a green check. You're either getting a green check like Adrian posts or you're getting a red X. You want a green check. And then if you get a red X, you got to go through and do some steps to make sure, has your name changed, has your address changed, and you want to give them, you have to put in accurate information to get it. But I'm telling y'all, it was real. And do you know the craziest thing? My mom said that a friend of hers, because my mom said, oh, heck no. I'm making a list of everybody I know, and I'm making calls to everybody I know that has voted, right? Family members and friends. My mom said this. I'm going to call everybody that I know and tell them about this. And she called one of her friends when we hung up the phone that night. She said, she's still up. I'm calling her tonight to let her know because she works as a poll worker. She works the polls. And she told my mom that in the election for President Obama, that this was happening and we just didn't know it. So do not put yourself in a position where even if you early vote October 14th through 29th here in the state of Tennessee, you won't be eligible if you don't go check it. If you don't go check it, even with early voting, it will be too late. October 5th is the deadline. If you have not registered to vote, please do. Encourage others. If you register to vote, check your status. Make sure that and Chandra said to me, we check our status and then we'll check again. We need to check every day because just because it was right today. And I said, okay, well, there's some validity to that too. But just know that as I get information, I'm going to share it because I want us all to be informed. So that's it, y'all. Tonight, young adults, we are going to have a phenomenal conversation because I'm all about trying to understand, because that's our future, right? I mean, the young adults. And so let me say this before I go. Somebody asked me, well, what is a young adult? Okay, here's what I'm qualified as young adult. So I'm 49. I'll be 50 in February. Praise the Lord. My year of Jubilee. I'm 49. I'm qualifying young adults just so that you can put parameters around that, from the ages of 18 when they're eligible to vote to the age of 35. Those are young adults to me, because from 18 to 35 and really 18 to 40, because all of that age group, they're all still very impressionable. They have had some life experiences, but they've also had the need, because I was at that age group at my own life, of course, where you need guidance from other people. You're looking for some support and direction from some elders in your life. And you and I both know that the grandmothers now are younger now than they were when we were growing up. My grandmother was 25, 30 years older than me. Some of the grandmothers now are in their 40s and 50s. I have peers who are grandmothers. We are younger, so we should have a better connection to be able to better inform our young adults. We've got to do our part. Join me tonight live at 8. Zoom. I'll be streaming here, and I am excited to have this conversation. A great big shout out to City Council member Mikkel Lowry and City. Michael, and please forgive me. I keep butchering your name. She is a chef. I keep butchering them, y'all. I got to get that right before tonight, okay? Mikkel Lowry is a county commissioner, and Michael and Easter Thomas is a city council member for District 7. I'm going to get that right. I have that right tonight. I'm going to be so smooth. I'm going to practice that. But they know that I appreciate them, and I want you to know that I appreciate them, because they're taking time out to make sure that they invest in our young adults. So that is it, y'all. That's all. I hope that you are going to join me tonight at 8 o'clock Central. I'll be streaming here live. I'll be on Zoom. You can connect with the information. If you have not yet gone in to check your status, go to vote.org. Look at the video that I posted from vote.org. They gave me an advance copy of it. Only because I've been so actively engaged in using vote.org. I bet they said, who is this lady? Good night. She's been on our page 5011 times. And if you don't know 5011, look it up. All right, that's it, y'all. That's all. Time with me, Tracy T, for now has ended, but I'll see you later on this night at 8. Make it great. Be there. Beat me there. Okay? That's what I want you to do. Beat me there. And know that I think that you are amazing. You matter to me. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Here's a cyber hug. I am going to have a wonderful Wednesday until I see you at 8 o'clock. Absolutely. Do what? Make every moment amazing, every day amazing, and live like it's a gift. It truly is. I'll see you tonight.